Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the first part of What If Deku Was a Magical Girl Mascot. Quirk, Magical Girl Mascot. The author of this great fanfic is Emma. I will leave links to them and original story in the description. Summary. Izuku Midoriya has a rather strange quirk. It allows him to bond with people, boosting their quirks, giving them a special costume, that is a frilly dress, a special weapon, that's a magical wand, and it also turns him into a strange animal. In other words, he's a magical girl mascot. Thankfully, the quirk also gives copies of his partner's quirks to use for himself. With his best friend and first partner Katsuki Bakugo, he will make his mark as a hero course student in Class 1A and bond with his classmates while hopefully keeping the side effect his quirk a secret. Okay, chances are slim that it will remain a secret, but still he will become a hero no matter what. Chapter 1, The Exam. Many years ago, a baby was born in China that lit up like the sun. Since then, about 80% of the population has since gained powers. To the extent that superheroes and supervillains had begun to rise, and becoming a hero was a popular profession. Many schools popped up to teach on how to become heroes, and in Japan, the best was UA. And that day, as the entrance exam, many students had gathered, including a girl wearing a sailor fuku. She had blonde spiky hair. Around her neck was a simple necklace that had a bright orange gem. However, interestingly, was a strange animal on her shoulder. It was green, had bunny ears and a tail that resembled a dog's. But its body shape was most interesting. It was bipedal and it sort of resembled a stuffed toy. Also, there was a gem on its forehead that shifted between bright orange and a vibrant green. "I can't believe it," said the animal, which had a boy's voice while its tail was wagging. "We're really here." "We are," replied the girl. She then tossed the animal off her shoulder, who landed with a thud. "Kaken!" cried the animal as he got up. "Seriously, Deku?" yelled Kaken, pointing at the animal. "If you want to be a hero, you have to be in your human form. You can't be in your animal form all day." "I know, but I only have 4 hours. We don't know how long the test will take," said Deku. "But shouldn't you be entering the school as a human at least?" said Kaken. Deku sighed, and there was a puff of green smoke. When it cleared, he was now a teen-aged boy wearing a school uniform. He had messy dark green hair and freckles on his cheek. Also, he still had his bunny ears and tail. "Is that better?" asked Deku. Kaken nodded. And both of them headed into the school building. When Deku tripped over his feet. "Of course," groaned Kaken. However, Deku suddenly found himself floating. "What?" he said. "Sorry about that," said rather bubbly voice. They turned and saw a girl with rosy cheeks and shoulder-length brown hair. "It's a bad omen to trip before the exam," said the girl. "No, it's fine," said Deku. The girl put her fingers together and Deku managed to land. "That's such an interesting quirk," said Deku. "You really think so?" asked the girl. Deku nodded. "What does it do?" asked Deku. "It allows me to take the gravity of objects I touch," explained the girl. "That's so cool," sighed Deku. "Well, it was nice talking to you," said the girl. "We do have an exam to take." "You're right," said Deku. "See you later," said the girl, running inside. Deku's tail wagged. "I did it. I talked to a real girl," he said. "Deku," growled out Kaken. Deku froze as he looked at the angry Kaken. "Oh no. I just implied she wasn't a real girl," thought Izuku, who began to sweat a lot. Kaken glared at Deku, then started laugh. "Relax. I'm just fucking with you," said Kaken. Deku breathed a sigh of relief. "I knew what you meant," said Kaken. "I know you would never think that way about me." Deku smiled when she said that. "Besides, I bet by the end of the day you bond with her." said Kaken. Kaken! Cried Deku. Come on, we have an exam to take, said Kaken. Oh right, said Deku. They took the written exam and soon enough it was time for the orientation for the practical exam. All right listeners, are you ready for the practical exam? Yelled the one explaining everything who was obviously a pro hero. Everybody say HUI. He got a silence as no one yelled along with him. With Deku and Kaken as they sat next to each other due to going to the same school, Deku's tail was wagging. IT's present Mike. I listen to his radio show every day, said Deku. Kaken snorted at her friend. All right, you're all serious. All right, so this test is going to be a battle simulation in a hip urban setting. You will be fighting faux villain in a fake setting. Each of these faux villains will have a point assigned to it. 1, 2, and 3 pointers. And you have 10 minutes to accumulate as many points as possible, explained the present Mike. Deku looked at both his and Kaken's IDs and saw they were in different battlefields. I guess they don't want friends teams up, said Deku. We wouldn't have teamed up for this anyway, muttered Kaken. But still, what are the opponents? Said Deku, who began to mutter about what the villains could be and how to fight them. Kaken just rolled her eyes at her friend. Excuse me, called out one of the many students. Yes, examinee 7111, said present Mike. The spotlight was shown on a rather tall boy with dark blue hair and glasses. You said there were 3 villains. The pamphlet said there would be 4 of them, said the boy. I would think that an institution such as UA wouldn't make such mistakes. Then the boy turned to where Deku and Kaken were sitting. All you with the rabbit ears. Your muttering is distracting. We're here to try to become heroes. Take things seriously, he yelled out. Deku shivered at the attention and then he was engulfed by a puff of green smoke and reverted to being an animal. Before Kaken could say anything back at him, present Mike answered him that it was a 0-pointer, just something to act like a distraction. The two listened, but it was clear Kaken was angry. That guy better hope we don't share the same place, muttered Kaken, who started to finger her necklace. I think you'd be disqualified for attacking him, pointed out Deku. I would tail him and steal his points, said Kaken with an evil smirk. I should have known, sighed Deku. They paid attention as present Mike gave them a quote from Napoleon, then gave them the school motto, Go Beyond Plus Ultra. He cheered. But of course no one joined him. They all got ready with Deku having to be in his human form on the bus right to his testing ground. He was nervous and looked around at the other participants. He considered acting one of his abilities to have them reassure them. Then he noticed the girl he met at the entrance who was trying to calm herself down. He decided to try to help her, however that one boy stopped him. What do you think you're doing? Can't you see she's trying to calm herself? Said the boy. You shouldn't be interrupting her. I didn't mean it like that, said Deku. We are trying to be future heroes. We shouldn't be hindering other students, he told him. Deku didn't say anything. And it only worse as he heard a lot of the other test takers say stuff about him like, that's one less person we have to worry about, and really? He thinks ears and a tail will let him pass? All right. Go. 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 They heard present Mike yell. Everyone was confused. There's no countdowns in real battles, yelled present Mike. They realized the test had begun and everyone ran in. At the same time, Kaken was getting ready. Everyone stared at her as she didn't change out of her uniform like everyone else. However, when present Mike yelled this out, she smirked. All right, she said. She grabbed her necklace and suddenly was engulfed in a bright orange light. Back with Deku, he ran through the city. That was when he came across one of the villains. It was a robot and there was a 1 written on. That's 1 pointer, said Deku. He had a plan to deal with them. looked at the robot and pulled his hand in a certain way. A piece of the robot flew to his hand, disabling it. "All right. That's 1 inch," said Deku. Then he ran to find more. Not noticing a disappointed boy nearby laminating that he wasn't able to kill Steel. Izuku found more robots, this time 2 pointers. "All right. I should use Kakens then," said Deku. He ran towards the robots, and when he was close enough he let loose some explosions form his hands, blowing them up. And it was his strategy, he would blow up the 2 and 3 pointers while ripping out the components out of the 1 pointers. Of course the teachers were watching the exam. One of the teachers, a very thin and skeletal man with messy blonde watching, noticed the fact that Deku seemingly had 2 quirks, a teleclinic one and an explosive one. That was when the principal of the school, a creature that was either a large mouse, a small bear or some kind of dog, noticed his face. "I see you're worried about Izuku Midoriya," said the principal. The teacher froze for a second, then turned to the screen with Deku, or rather Izuku, on it. "That's part of his quirk," explained the principal. What? Asked the thin teacher. "His quirk has multiple aspects. One of them is that it allows him to create bonds with people," explained the principal. "Bonds?" said the teacher. The principal nodded. "It's a symbiotic bond. He gets a permanent copy of his quirk while in human form, while the one he bonds with gains new abilities, including stronger version of their quirks and special armor," said the principal. "In fact, one of the people he bonded with is taking the exam." "Which one is it?" asked a teacher wearing what appeared to be a spacesuit. "Katsuki Bakugo, she's in a different testing site," said Nizu. The thin teacher turned into the screen showing that group and saw Kaken, or rather Katsuki. "What is she wearing?" asked the thin teacher. "I said it was a special armor," said the principal. "That's armor?" asked a teacher wearing a gas mask and was dressed like a cowboy. With Katsuki, she was blowing up robots left and right. However, many of the other test taker couldn't help but to stare at her, or rather what she was wearing. It consisted of black sleeveless shirt with an orange X crossing it, a metal collar, a green frilly skirt that somewhat resembled a grenade with the way its frill were, black army boots and green gloves. Over her eyes, which was a black mask that had black and orange spike shape coming from, and right above her mask was the bright orange gem from her necklace. Also her hair was now peppered with bright orange streaks. Back with the teachers, they couldn't help but to stare at the strange outfit. The other person he bonded with was his mother, explained the principal. "That's where the other quirk comes from." The teachers all nodded. However, the thin teacher breathed a sigh of relief. He was uncomfortable with someone displaying multiple quirks, and if there was an explanation for it, even it was particularly strange, it did put him at ease. Back with Katsuki, she decided it was time to up her game. "All right. I think it's time to bring that out," she said. She lifted her hand to the gem on her forehead, and suddenly an orange light appeared. The light took the form of what appeared to be a wand. The handle was a bright orange, while the top was a glimmering green gem that resembled a grenade. She swung her wand, and the robots all exploded. The teachers watching stared at this sight. "Did she just summon a wand and blew up all those robots with a wave of the wand?" asked a woman teacher dressed like a dominatrix. Yes, she did," said the principal, not even hiding amusement in his voice. "By the way, I think it's time for the real test." Back with Izuku, he was taking a short break trying to calculate how many points he had gotten so far. That was when everything began to shake. He turned and saw a giant robot that was emerging. On it was printed 0. "That's the 0-pointer," cried Izuku. Everyone started to run away from the giant robot. Izuku was going to run away too, but that was when he heard a cry. He turned and saw the girl from the entrance. She was trapped under rubble, with the 0-pointer looking like it was going to crush her. He didn't even think he ran towards her. As he did, he ran right past that one boy. When he got to the girl, he began to look at the rubble. It's too big to use Mom's and I might just hurt her more if I blow it up. He thought. He then remembered what she said about her quirk earlier. That might be my only choice, he thought, realizing it. Hey! He said. She looked up. It's you, can you help me? She said. I can, but we have to bond, said Izuku. What? Asked the girl. It's part of my quirk. I can form bonds with people, but the bond is permanent. So you'll be stuck with me for the rest of your life, said Izuku, but not physically. We'll have a telepathic bond. It won't be on all the time I have to activate, but every time I activate I'll be there. And she stared at the boy as the zero-pointer headed towards them. I accept, said the girl, knowing they were in danger. Okay, sighed Izuku. She was wondering how this would go. She didn't expect for him to turn into a small stuffed toy-like animal in a puff of smoke. What? She yelled out. It's part of my quirk, said Izuku, blushing. That was when the gem on his forehead started to glow and a small yet bright light emerged from it the same size of the gem. Grab it, said Izuku. The girl managed to reach her and grab it. When she did, she was engulfed a light pink light. She felt a warmth all over her body. Her clothes also turned into something else. It was a light pink and black like leotard. There was a light pink belt. Below the belt was a black skirt with a second layer underneath that was light pink. She also wore puffy light pink boots and over her face a pink visor of some kind. On her wrists were light pink bracelets and she had short sleeves that were light pink clear bubbles, and on her chest was a light pink gemstone. Also, though her hair, she gained light pink streaks, including 2 framing her face. Not only that, but Izuku's forehead gem now shimmered a light pink along with the bright orange and green. The girl also had a feeling, a new power within her. That was when all of the rubble started floating on its own. Though Izuku was also caught up in the zero gravity. No way, she said, getting up. However, the zero-pointer was right on them. Oh no! She cried out. She grabbed the floating animal and then flew away from the giant robot. As they were flying away, she realized 2 things. One was her quirk drawback wasn't affecting her, it caused nausea, and the other was that she was flying, it was nothing. The bond also powers up your quirk when you're dressed like that, Izuku explained nervously. Really? Asked the girl, who was surprised and excited at this. In the viewing room, all of the teachers had saw this. They knew they had to score both things, however most of them were just surprised and baffled at what they just saw. Did young Midoriya just turn into a small animal and somehow changed her outfit? Said the thin teacher. He did, said the principal, sipping tea, amused at all this, and was actually happy to see the bonding in action. He had heard that due to multiple reasons Izuku didn't really bond with people beyond his friend and mother. What is his quirk? Asked the teacher, dressed like a dominatrix. It's called Magical Girl Mascot, said the principal, once again not hiding any of the amusement from his voice. They all stared at the screen. They realized that the boy/small animal had gained enough points to probably pass. Meaning that one of the students was going to be a magical girl mascot. In the back of the room, a teacher watched. He was dressed in almost all black expat for a type of scarf. He rubbed his forehead. That kid is going to end up in my class, he muttered to himself, fighting off an oncoming headache. Back in Izuku's testing site, the girl landed just as President Mike called out, and time's up. Are you okay? Asked the girl, putting the small animal down. The animal nodded before turned back into his human form with a puff of green smoke. I'm fine, what about you? I think you might have hurt your leg, said Izuku. Oh, it's fine, said the girl, when you did that. I felt it heal right up. Oh, I didn't know I could do that, said Izuku, surprised. It's just I've only ever done it twice, and both were accidents, though Mom knew she was doing, and… said the girl, deciding to stop him. How do I change my clothes back? Oh, you just focus on turning back, said Izuku. The girl did that and her clothes turned back to the workout clothes she is wearing. She also noticed that she was now wearing a necklace just like Katsuki's, except her gem was a light pink. "Oh right, I should tell Mom and Kaken," said Izuku. "What?" asked the girl. "Hey." She heard Izuku's voice in her head, then remembered what he said about a telepathic bond. "You better have racked up a lot of points, Deku. We are not going with Plan B," came Katsuki's voice. "I'm sure he got enough points," reassured another voice that was clearly an adult woman's. "I think I did," explained Izuku, "but it's not about that." "What is it?" asked the woman's voice. "I bonded with a girl," thought Izuku. "Hi." The girl joined the conversation, realizing if she thought they could hear her. "What?" asked the woman. "There better be a good reason, Deku," responded Katsuki. "She got pinned by debris when the zero-pointer showed up," explained Izuku. "It was the only way to save her." "Okay, that is a good reason," replied Katsuki. "Zero-pointer?" asked the woman. "We'll tell you later, Auntie," replied Katsuki. "Wait, should I join you?" "I mean," said the girl. "It's better if we all explain it in person," said the woman. "You can just tell your parents you met some new friends at the exam, which is pretty much true," thought Izuku. "You're right," replied the girl. "I'm pretty sure you're getting stares right now, so we'll just meet up at the entrance," said Katsuki. "Later," said Izuku. He cut of the telepathy. "So?" said the girl. "Oh, I'm Izuku Midoriya," said Izuku. "Sorry for being stuck with me." "It's fine, it's better than being crushed, and I'm Achiko Uraraka," said the girl named Achiko. "Excuse me," said voice. They turned and saw a small old woman dressed in a lab coat and also had a visor and was using a syringe-shaped cane. "No way. You're Recovery Girl," skewed Izuku as his tail started to wag. "His tail wags as a human. That's so cute," thought Achiko, blushing. Yes, now are either of you two injured?" asked the old woman. "No, we're fine," said Achiko. However, the two of them were being watched by the boy. He ran in to save her even though it was test. Granted, if it wasn't a test I would have done the same thing, thought the boy. Wait, is it possible? Not too longer later, Katsuki was waiting for Izuku and Achiko. "Kaken!" called out Izuku. Katsuki turned to the two. She looked at the other girl. "What the fuck, Deku?" muttered Katsuki. "I was joking earlier when I said you would bond with her." Izuku laughed as he turned back into his animal form. "I know," sighed Izuku. Katsuki sighed and smirked. "Either way, welcome to the team," said Katsuki. "Come on, we have a train to catch." Izuku jumped onto Katsuki's shoulder and Achiko followed them. And thus began the story of Izuku Midoriya, who would go on to form bonds with quite a few of his classmates, other people who weren't in his class, and would go on to become one of the most interesting heroes of all time. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 2. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.